So in this lecture we will be talking couple of parts. So let's first talk about anonymity. So what is anonymity? So computer makes anonymity much more difficult and complicated. Before, computers and the internet simply blend in, making an effort, looks and act like everything else would be enough to stay under the radar of anyone who might be looking for you, whether they are the authorities, a bill collector, or a salesman. With computer, however, there are many different ways that you can be identified, so they all can be automated and there is no possibility of sneaking past of a napping security guard or distracted secretary. So first is IP address. So all devices that connect to the internet are identified by an IP address. So IP address are assigned by the ISP and given an IP address, and the ISP can identify the account and location of the system that being used. Web server, especially those providing services, set cookies containing identifying the information on your system when you access the service. Information about your system such as browser that you are using and your operation system that you installed, and that you install other fonts, plugins and other software that can all used for profiling your system. So that's all for anonymity. So let's now talk about what is Tor browser. So Tor, which is a short for the Onion router, is completely free open source browser that helps you to surf the internet anonymously. It erases your browser history automatically with every session and encrypts all your traffic. It also lets you access the dark web, the hidden and undexed websites on the internet which you cannot browse using normal Chrome or other browser. Because of its ability to let you access the world wide web freely, and some countries also block this server Tor browser. So originally this Tor browser was developed by the US Navy to enable anonymous online communication for military organization. So these days the Tor manually focused its attention on its browser and the development of a few privacy tools, which we will be talk later. Now how Tor works. So to aim to improve your online privacy and up to the point and security, the browser makes use of Tor's vast and worldwide server network to hide your IP and secure your connection. So when using Tor browser, your data goes to different Tor servers or nodes. The traffic is heavily encrypted, then slowly decoded and one layer at a time, and then it goes to different nodes. This means that whoever is trying to identify you based on your online traffic, that will just stumble on the last server of your data traffic that passed through, which is like exit nodes in here. So in other words, the Tor browser makes it impossible or at least very difficult to identify other users or Tor users for surfing the web anonymously. So using the Tor browser is better than any other normal web browser. The triple layer encryption comes with a disadvantage also. The Tor browser is generally much slower than your bare network connection because your online traffic is sent through different nodes and your internet connection will have to go the long way around, therefore it became much slower. So why use Tor? So there are many good reasons to use Tor. Many of these is like detailed on the Tor browser's website. So the two fundamental uses for Tor are to maintain privacy and to circumvent the censorship. So there are many good reasons to stay private, mostly to avoid unwanted attention to your interest, whether the attention manifests itself with endless advertisement targeted to you based on your Google searches, or to avoid attention from your network administrators monitoring traffic for forbidden content. privacy is implied to the right to left alone. So given the amount of data that can be collected anytime when you connect to popular websites, it is reasonable to avoid leaking personal information using an anonymizing network like Tor that gives user control over what information is revealed through their web browsing. So if the remote server or network connectivity provider is not aware of the actual location of the organization of the user that browses anonymously, that server cannot tailor their replies based on that information. So there are many good cases for using Tor. So let's download and install Qubes OS, which is the best operating system for anonymity. So just visit this website, which is the official website of Qubes OS. Download this ISO, and this is a very long file, so make sure you download this. And after that, so go to the directory that you downloaded. So where is the, as you can see, I already downloaded Qubes OS. So let's try to install this Qubes OS on our VirtualBox. So first type new Qubes OS and then select Linux. So Qubes OS is based on Fedora. So make sure you select Fedora. It won't be selected as default. So make sure you use Fedora as 64-bit. Then click next. Use at 2 GB RAM. Then select as default. As default BDI dynamically create, and then give it a 10 GB space, so less than just create. So what you have to do now is you have to set up some things, which is like enable EFI, click this, give that a 2 processor, and then give that a video memory of 128 MB, enable extended future, so make sure you, so then network, make sure you select as bridge network if you are using a wireless network like me. Then select the file that you downloaded, which is the ISO file. So choose a disk file, go to and select the Qubes OS, press OK, and then you are done. And Qubes OS is a very long process to install, so it will take some time. So just press enter, and it will take some time, so let's just pause. Okay, now click continue. Then you have to partition your hard disks, so let's just untick this and then done. As you can see, you just click begin install, set a root password. The password. Okay, then select your username. Okay, we don't need password, so let's just done. Okay, it will take some time to install, so let's just pause. So it took around 15 minutes, then after that it will ask you to reboot. So after rebooting the Qubes OS, this page will load up, so just click in here and click set as all default. You don't need to change anything, just set default. So as you can see, it's a long process, so it took you like half an hour to complete the all installation process. So be patient and follow those steps like mine. So it will also take some time, so let's just pause again. So we are done with configuring the initial setup, so let's just finish the configuration, and then you can just simply use the Qubes OS, which is considered the best operating system for anonymity. As you can see, we logged into this Qubes OS and you are good to go. So this is what the desktop looks like in Qubes OS, and you will probably notice that it looks just like a normal Linux desktop. So let's dive into in here, which is our application menu. So let's click in our application menu. So each entry in here actually a virtual machine, and each one of those virtual machine can contain different application that you might want to use. Basically, a virtual machine is another completely separate operating system that runs within our current operating system within this computer right here. So each of these entries, as you can see in here, is another operating system and has the name called virtual machine. So it is as if it is completely different computer, and it has its own storage, own RAM, own CPU, and it has its own resources. And therefore this implementation is very secure, because none of these virtual machines can communicate with each other. So if one of those get hacks in here, or an application that is stored is one of those virtual machine get hacked, it will not be able to compromise the other virtual machine in here. Now you notice that there are different types of virtual machine in here. So like we have like disposal virtual machines. So we have disposal virtual machine domain service, disposal domain service, and also templates. So the disposal virtual machine are the virtual machine that most people use. So this virtual machine is designed to run untrusted file, or files that you think might be malware or viruses, because once you run these files, and then if these machines get hacked in those disposal machine, or the viruses or the backdoor that cannot be moved, or the hacker cannot move, and then it compromise the machine, because like we said, everything is completely separate machine in here. Not only that, once you turn off this disposal machine, everything that was stored on it, including the viruses or backdoors, all will be removed. So when you start it again, and it will start completely brand new machine. Next, we have like domain, as you can see in different color, and the idea of these machines are normal computers or normal virtual machine that can be used for normal uses. So you have a one called personal. So you should use this for whatever the personal use. So you use this computer for like listening music, watching YouTube, watching sports videos, whatever you like, and you will be using this on this domain, which is the personal. And this is the virtual machine that is designed for you for the untrusted data, which is this one, domain untrusted. For example, doing like normal tab web browsing. So if you are searching for something and you are not sure if you are going to land on an untrusted website, then you can use this untrusted machine. So don't open your mail or any account of this using this untrusted domain, because it is untrusted and you are going to get untrusted task, and opening untrusted website. So therefore, even if their machine is getting hacked, your personal data on your personal computer will not be compromised because they are two complete separate from this virtual machine which is personal and untrusted. So now we have a one like vault. So this is the virtual domain that is not connected to the internet, and the whole idea is that is you store your most important and most secretive files or data in here, which is the vault domain. So you can store your like secret keys, you can store your password, you can store documents that are very important to you that you cannot risk them being leaked. And again, the low idea is this: it is not even connected to the internet and it is completely separate computer connected to separate virtual machine like this. These are all separate, therefore it is very difficult or next to impossible to hack into. And finally we have like work domain, and this is just another virtual machine that is designed for you to use for your work task. So you can use for your work email, you can log into your work, you are working to a certain platform, and again this is completely separate virtual machine. So any of these machine can get compromised. Your workup in this machine would not be compromised because it is completely separated from all of these machines, from all of those computers. So you have like services in here for like use for terminals and other use cases. So that's all about the Qubes OS, why Qubes OS is more secure than any other operating system, because it disposes once you log out all from this machine. So let's talk about VPN. So VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. So in short summary, what is VPN? So VPN creates a secure connection between you and the internet. So when you connect to the internet through a VPN, all your data traffic is sent through an encrypted virtual tunnel, and this has multiple advantages, like you will be more anonymous on the internet, you will be safer on the internet, and you will be freer also on the internet. So let's talk about what is VPN. So back to the basics. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. So using a VPN is an easy and efficient way to increase your online safety, privacy, and freedom. So when you are using the internet, there is a constant process of your device exchanging data with other parties on the web. So VPN creates a secure tunnel between your device like smartphone, laptop, PC, and it connects to the internet. So the VPN allows you to send your data via a encrypted secure connection to a external server, which is the VPN server. So from there your data will be sent onward to its destination on the internet. So rerouting your internet traffic through a VPN server has several advantages. First, it helps you to hide your identity online. Second, it secures your data. And third, it allow you to use the internet more freely without getting caught. And also you can use websites that are restricted on your country or on your region. So you can also visit those websites. So how VPN works? Connecting to a VPN is generally quite simple. So after subscribing to a VPN provider, you download and install an VPN software. Then you select a server you want to connect, and then a VPN will do the rest of the things for you. You don't have to do anything. So when connection has been established, first the VPN software on your computer encrypts your data traffic and send it to the VPN server through a most secure connection. Then the data goes through your internet service provider or ISP, but they can no longer snoop because of the encryption. Second, the encrypted data from your computer is decrypted by the VPN server. Then the VPN server will send you data on the internet and receive a reply which is meant for you for the user. Then the traffic is encrypted again by the VPN server and then the VPN server is sent back to you, and the VPN software on your device will decrypt the data so that you can actually understand and use it. So the VPN application runs in the background of your computer, mobile or tablet. So you can access the internet as you normally would, and you won't notice anything different because VPN itself will do all of those work, and then you will be able to get around online with restrictions. So let's talk about some of the best VPN that you can get. So let's talk about the best 5 that I used so that I can give you my opinion for the best. So the first one I would say is ExpressVPN. I think most of you heard this name, and I would say the ExpressVPN is the best anonymous VPN which is highly private. So let's go to Express. So this is the best anonymous VPN, highly private and packed with feature with zero logs policy, then stealth server, and also has 30-day money back guarantee. So let's talk about the pros that I noticed. It is super fast, great for streaming, customizable encryption option to maximize the security, then easy to use apps for all platform, then it has zero logs policy, and it's worked with a long list of streaming service. So the thing is, every VPN has cons even though they are great. So it also has cons, like it has like only 5 simultaneously connection are allowed into this ExpressVPN, and I think this is the most expensive because I think it's per month is like 12 to $15, I think, as far as I remember. So let's go product for Windows. So as I said, it's $12 per month, and I think this is the premium and the best you can get at this price. And the thing about one of the issue is, if you are into this ethical hacking, it has lack of port forwarding, so make sure you remember that. And the second one is NordVPN. So NordVPN is the best feature is, I would say, anonymous VPN, including a kill switch, leak protection, and also stealth server, as well as 30 days money back guarantee like ExpressVPN. As you can see, it has lots of features. So let's go see the pricing. So per month, as you can see, is lower than ExpressVPN. So let's talk about the pros. It accepts Bitcoin for more anonymous payment. Then it has ad and malware blocking tools, including the offer, and it is consistently, I think, the best fast connection and plenty of customization for privacy. And let's talk about the cons. So it's expensive, as you can see, $12 is very expensive. It has also no port forwarding, and it is not ideal for torrenters who use torrent. and it has similarly the 6 simultaneously connection one at a time. So third is private internet access. So let's search that. So private internet access is one of the secure anonymous VPN with a code proven zero log policy and customizable security features. So all of those are 30 days money back guarantee. So let's talk about the pros. So it has advanced encryption options, which is like including OpenVPN and WireGuard, and also it has no logs policy, proven in code, which is the good thing, and it has huge networks of server. So let's talk about the cons. So not the best VPN for beginners who needs a hands-on support, and I think it is the US based only. So it is in the slower side. It is not quite fast as ExpressVPN or NordVPN, but also it's expensive. Even though it has lags on like speed and connections, it also asks you $12 per month, so it is very expensive. With this I would not recommend. With this price you can go after ExpressVPN or NordVPN. And another one, let's talk about private VPN. So this is all of the VPN that I used, so that's why I am talking about features that you can try. So this is the best cheap anonymous VPN, I would say, in top 5. Plans are inexpensive, apps are very easy to use, and there are no logs. So let's go to pricing. As you can see, very cheap, $9 per month. And so let's talk about the pros. It is the cheapest VPN on the list that I am showing. Very beginner friendly and smooth surface. Works seamlessly with most streaming platforms like Netflix, HBO Max, Disney, etc. And so another thing is, let's talk about the cons. So not independently audited. It is slower, as you realize. In $9 it will not give you the same fast experience like Express or NordVPN, and it has fewer servers than ExpressVPN. And the last one is Viper VPN. So Viper VPN is, I would say, the all-rounder anonymous VPN with sleek apps for all platform and audited zero logs policy. So let's see the pricing. Where is the pricing? Features, benefits, get Viper VPN. Choose a plan. So as you can see, it's higher than our previous VPN, which is private internet access. It is nearly an $8.50. So let's talk about the pros. So it has audited no logs policy. It is very fast and secure due to its infrastructure, and it has a proprietary Chameleon stealth server for advanced authentication. And for cons, it has a connection time that can be a little slow. So it does not accept crypto payments, and also other providers have more servers to choose from than this one. So out of all of those, I would suggest you go for either NordVPN or ExpressVPN. These are two of the best VPN server you can get. I would not recommend you to use free VPN service. It is not secure and very slow. So make sure you always go for the premium, and even if you want to spend lower, make sure you at least use Viper VPN or internet private VPN, because they are the lowest at price like $7 to $8. This is the option that you can choose out of all of those premium features. So that's all about the VPNs. Hello everyone. So in this lecture, we'll be talking about how to set up a OpenVPN server. So at first, let's talk about what is OpenVPN. So OpenVPN is a full-featured SSL VPN which implements OSI layer 2 and 3 secure network extension using the standard SSL or TLS protocol that supports flexible client authentication method based on certificates, smart cards, and or username password credential, and allow user to group specific access control policies using firewall rules that apply to the VPN virtual interface. So OpenVPN is not a web application proxy and that does not operate through a web browser. So OpenVPN 2.0 expand on the capabilities of OpenVPN 1.0 by offering a scalable client or server mode, allowing multiple clients to connect on a single OpenVPN server process over a single TCP or UDP port. And OpenVPN includes a large number of improvements, including a full IPv6 supports and polar SSL support. So now we'll see how to set up a OpenVPN server under Windows. So OpenVPN, as I said, is a very powerful VPN which has a separate advantage as it is free, compatible with most operating system, and it is kind of, I'd say, easy to implement, and it is highly configurable. So first we have to download and open SSL. So in order to this, you have some prerequisites. So in order to create a connection certificates, we will have to install OpenSSL software library and personally use the ciproweb.com package. So just go and download OpenSSL light version. As you can see in here, we are using the light version of exe. OpenSSL 3.0 Lite. So I am using Lite version to test this out. You can use another version, but I will ask you to follow this same procedure. That's why I just choose the Lite version, and then after that, after download is complete, just simply open the executable file, and it will just ask you some basic installation process. As you can see, it will just tick I accept the agreement, then next select the default directory. Do not change this directory, make sure you select the default directory, then click next, then name as OpenSSL, click next, and make sure you select this. In default it will be selected in here, the Windows system directory, but make sure you select this as OpenSSL binary directory. It is very important because it will install into this directory, that we will, otherwise we won't be able to connect our server that will be created. So make sure you just click or check this, and then simply just press install, and it will take some time, like 3 to 4 minutes, and just done. So I would suggest you, if you are able to donate, because it is free, so it will be helpful for developer to continue this software. So make sure, if you can, just donate $5 or $10. Then after that, what you have to do is, now we have to add OpenSSL in our environment variable. So we will add OpenSSL inside environment variable. So just go to your Windows machine, search run, and after opening run, it will be similar like this. Just simply type system properties advanced. So it will open up system properties. So this is the text, so simply just type this and it will open up this system properties. In default it will have computer name, so go to this bar which is advanced toolbar. So in advanced, just simply go at the end or bottom, just type environment variable, because we need to add OpenSSL in here, so we have to change this environment variable. So just click environment variable. So after that, as you can see, we have couple of the variable for administrator like path, temporary and TMP. So but we will be using this one. So simply, if you are not find it here, it may be bottom or up, so make sure you check the path directory. So simply just click edit. So make sure you select first, select the path, otherwise you cannot edit. Make sure you select path, then edit, then it will ask you to add this, so it will be blank. So make sure you create new, and after creating new, it will, you can type. So make sure you type similarly just like this. Make sure you don't forget to add, so this is the important part. So make sure you click new, then just simply type this line that you are seeing in this picture, and after that just simply press OK. And what this will do, will it will create or add a OpenSSL in our environment variable. So after that, just simply press OK to cancel or done all this, and after that just open a new Windows command to check if you can run OpenSSL command. So as you can see, OpenSSL version, if you just type OpenSSL version, if you fully follow my process, then it will have installed your OpenSSL. Otherwise, if you don't follow the same procedure, then it will show error. It will say that your OpenSSL is not installed. So make sure you follow all of those, and obviously add, this is the important, add a new environment variable in your Windows machine. So after that, after adding our environment variable, what you need to do is we need to install our OpenVPN. So just visit OpenVPN official website and then just download. So let me show you the process. So what you have to do now is you have to download OpenVPN as an installer. So here what you have to do, you have to create a download. So if you are using Ubuntu, make sure you install this for Ubuntu, Debian, Red Hat or CentOS. So make sure you download your package, and then we will be seeing the next process in our next lecture. So just download and the OpenVPN. So simply just download this MSI for 64-bit MSI installer, and then just simply it will be exe file. So make sure you install the same way that I will be showing. So not just, you don't need to click install, you need to click customize, because you need to customize something in our OpenVPN service. So just click customize. Because if you want to install OpenVPN as server, we will need to choose customize, otherwise you cannot open You cannot use OpenVPN as a server otherwise if you cannot choose customize. So just click customize, then click this OpenVPN service because we need to enable OpenVPN service in order to make it work at boot. So just click OpenVPN service, then we just install a utility called EasyRSA3 certified management script. So simply just click this, then click install, because we need EasyRSA, this one 3, in order to able to create a server and client certificate. So this is must, so otherwise it won't work on server and client certificate. So just select this, click install, and then once the OpenVPN install is done, so simply just click close. And then what we need to do is we need to set up our certificate authority and generate certificates and keys for server and clients. So we will set up PKI to able to create our server and client certificate. So simply just go to your Windows, just search for command prompt or CMD, and must open it as an administrator. And then we need to do some command. So we need to type certain commands, like type these two commands to enter inside the EasyRSA shell. So first simply type this, after type that, and then it will enter to the EasyRSA shell. After that we need to remove existing configuration just for some good measure. So simply just type this inside your command prompt on Windows, and then we need to initialize the PKI, and they will ask you, the command prompt will ask you to confirm. So simply like this, as you can see, after typing previous two command, it will be simply like this, and then press yes or type yes, and then after that we need to build some certificate authority inside terminal. So simply we need to type this command. This is the command. First we need to type, then we need to build our server certificate and keys. So simply just type this. This is the command, and then we need to general diffie Hellman parameter, which is easy. This line in command prompt, this will generate a diffie Hellman, and then at the end we need to generate our client certificate, which is this, and this will generate all the client certificate. Make sure you follow all of those in your command prompt. This is the couple of the command that we need to use. So after all of this is done, we need to generate our certificate. So what we need to do is we need to put all of those files that we created, like ca.crt, ds.pem, or like server.crt, these files into this config.auto directory. So these are the files: server.key, ds.pm, ca.crt, and server.crt. This is the file we need to copy and paste it in config auto and just in config folder. And then we need to add a Windows firewall rule. So we need to open like 1194 UDP port on our port to allow OpenVPN client connection. So use the Windows firewall management console, or this just using this command inside a administrator command line. We will do all of those. So after commanding this, it will open up a server.openvpn file. So what you need to do is we need to edit the OpenVPN file to similarly like this. So make sure you change all of those into this, and then what you need to do is we need to save this OpenVPN config file and just restart our OpenVPN service. So how can you restart OpenVPN service? simply go to service. So first search for run in your Windows, then search for service.miscellaneous or service.msc. So this will open up all the services that are running inside your Windows machine. So then search for the OpenVPN service. It will be similarly like this. It will automatically in start mode. So make sure you press stop, then restart, or otherwise you can just click restart to restart your OpenVPN service. Or you can use command prompt to restart or stop OpenVPN service. Just simply type net space stop space OpenVPN service. It will do the same thing in command prompt that we do it in our graphical user interface or manually. So what we need to do now is we have to use our client configuration now. So our OpenVPN client will be on Windows 10 and it will be roll on OpenVPN client. So first, similarly, we need to download the same package here with some default parameters, and we need to copy the certificates from the servers. Like these are the files that we need to copy to this config file, which is ca.crt client 0001.crt and client 01.key. These are the files that you need to copy to this config file from your server file. So these all files are in here, as you can see. So make sure you click copy and paste it in this directory. And then similarly we are going to open our client configuration file, which is client.ovpn file with administration right that we previously or similarly did for servers. So similarly just edit it like this. You need to remote OpenVPN IP and port, which is 1194. So make sure you edit all of those similarly like this and just save, because these are the configuration file that we need to establish a connection. So then what we need to do is we need to establishing the connection. So simply it will create a desktop connection. So simply run as administrator. So make sure you always open OpenVPN GUI or OpenVPN software run as an administrator, because that will have a root access or like administrator rights. So then after clicking this run as administrator, it will open a shortcut in your bar, navigation bar or bar. So then what you need to do is right click onto this button, which is the computer icon. Simply just type right click in here and just click connect, and a pop-up will confirm that either you are connected or not connected. So if you are connected, this will be similarly like this, and your accent will be like this, and OpenVPN GUI for Windows. So to join the server, what you need to do is you need to type this address into anywhere to join the server. So just simply type this into here. As you can see, it is the server that will use this IP address. So that's how you create or open a OpenVPN server and clients in Windows. So previously we talked about lots of premium VPNs, Express, NordVPN, and all of those VPN which are premium, and we talked a lot of this. So let's now talk about a free VPN that we can use, which is, I think, in my opinion, is usable but not the best. But if you are free to pay, or if you are just a free user that you want to use a VPN for free, then you can use this. So let's go and check that out. So you can use a free VPN both on Windows, Mac, and also on Android phone. Lots of free VPNs are free, but not a lot of them are good. So let's try one of them which are I think is good as a free unit. So let's search for Firefox extension because we will using a VPN on our Mozilla. So Firefox extension, let's search for VPN. As you can see, there are lots of free VPNs are in here, like free VPN proxy. We'll talk about this later because we will be testing this out. And then Rush VPN, as you can see, lots of users are in here. And also the ratings, as you can see, most of them are low rating. Hotspot for VPN proxy. So as you can see, lot of them are not that good, but as you can see, lots of users are using Touch VPN because I think this is the best free VPN that you can use right now. I don't think there is a better free VPN than Touch VPN is available in market right now. So just simply go to and click the Touch VPN, then just simply add this to Firefox. You can also rate this by clicking here. So let's just click and add this to Firefox as an add-on, and as you can see it's done. It's very little, like 1 or 2 MB, and it's very simple to use. It's just one click to all, I think. So let's set up our free VPN. So once you are done with add-on to your Firefox, this will show up in here, or you can just go in here, more tools, where is extension. So these are the extension that you are in here. So but in shortcut you will have add-on in here. So just click in here. As you can see, they will ask you to read all of this, so make sure you read this if you have any concern. So I'm just gonna click got it. So very simple user interface. You can choose your choice. So these are all the choice that are for free, like you can use US, Canada, Russia, Germany, Netherlands. So let's try Netherlands. So in here, this is the bar menu, so you can sign in. So what is this feature? So when you sign in, every time you install this in your defined machine, it will automatically switch location, and it will automatically set all of those that you set previously, and it will automatically set all of those in your all other devices. And then auto protect website, you can protect website using in here. So as you can see, as soon as you open this website, secure connection will be automatically enabled. Then you can exclude website that you don't want to VPN to work, like many Facebook and other websites that many Facebook I think face some problem when using VPN on Facebook. Sometimes they ask you to verify you whether you are a real person or not. So that's why sometimes it's better to exclude Facebook. Then you can rate privacy, and here also you can try that in for phone. So it's, as you can see, it's available on lots of devices: Mac, App Store, Microsoft, Google Play, my Windows, Firefox, Chrome. So all of those platforms are available to use on Touch VPN. So let's use. So simply, or also another thing you can just share in here. So simply choose a location like Germany. Just simply press connect, and it will connect your VPN. As you can see, you are now browsing from VPN. And as you can see, it's very slow because it's free. That's why it's slow. Every free VPN that you will test is very slow. That's why I always recommend you to use like Express VPN or NordVPN. Okay, this is taking so much time. As you can see, 5 Mbps speed, and all the bandwidth that you use will be in here. So ad blocker, you can use ad block, you can enable tracker, you can enable cookies that will be blocked, and you can malware block, you can all of those block using this here, and also you can exclude. I think my internet has some problem, so let's just stop. As you can see, this free VPN also has some problem. Okay, let's try again with different location like United States. So let's try if it loads or not. As you can see, it loaded on using what is my IP address. So let's try our IP address. As you can see, this is my IP address currently right now. So if we change our location to Canada, so let's see what this does. As you can see, my IP address instantly changed. So we are from Europe. As you can see, service is network sharing service, which is our VPN service, which is city and region France, country France. So that's how you simply use a VPN, free VPN. So let's try another one to see how another free VPN service works. So let's try a high user. So let's use this one. Simply just add to Firefox. It's downloading, but it's taking some time. So I think there is some problem with this. This add-on is not actively monitored, so it's better not to install this. Let's try another one. I think my internet has some problem. So let's disconnect and connect again. So as you can see, my VPN service has some problem, that's why I cannot install. As you can see, simply just on click and installed. So that's how basically you use VPN. The process of touch VPN is identical to all of the devices that you will use, like Android, Mac, or other operating system. It's pretty much the same process. This is the pretty much the same user interface that will be seen in other operating system. So that's how you use a free VPN service. Tor tool is primarily two things. It is anonymizing network, which you can see here beautifully right in front of you. this is actually a live representation of a Tor network, and it's a piece of software, and it's a software that enable access to this tool network or Tor network, which is known as the Tor browser. And previously we know what this Tor browser is. So there is Tor network, and which is, as you can see, Tor browsing to our connection. So most of the Tor relays operated in Central Europe, as you can see, Finland, Germany, Switzerland. As you can see, lots of Central Europe that it operates. So as you can see, it's from Paris or London. Then there's also in 212 relays on Switzerland. Also, as you can see, I am also on relays on Switzerland, and also on Germany. As you can see, Germany. So most of the relays are from Central Europe, and it is increasing year by year. So if you see the chart, so as you can see, in London the speed, and you can see all of those connection details in here, and outer details connection. So if you see the chart here, that in my experience in London, the speed and latency of Tor is increased a lot over the time. So the total browser consists in here in Tor browser, and launches with no script and HTTPS everywhere. Then this is what is Tor project. When you are connected to a Tor project, this will be the default page that it should look like. So I think you're familiar with it, as I already talked a couple of lecture about this Tor browser. As you can see, you have a lots of icon in here. So this is our connection circuit icon. So we can see the configuration as browse. So configure to use the Tor, and this is our IP address, and this is our Tor circuit. So from this browser it goes Switzerland to Sweden to Germany, then it goes to this web page. You can simply change your circuit by simply pressing this. As you can see, it goes to now Italy, and your IP address also changed. As you can see, United States, Latvia. So every time you do this, your IP address will change, and will have different IP address where it's actually using a different circuit. So you can see the circuits in browser in here. So we are going through these all relays, and to this relay, to this relay, and then onto the internet. And then you can see the exit node, which is obviously the same as this. And then we have the new tool circuit for this site. So this will create a new circuit, but it will not restart the browser. So there is a difference between new identity and this is the new identity. It will restart your browser and it will create a new identity, but this will not create a new identity. It will just create a different IP address. So let's click. So as you can see, it will close all of those tabs and reset your identity. As you can see, it reset my identity and restart the browser. So this will just simply change your IP address and what's the Tor relays are coming from, but this will just simply create a new identity. So make sure you always use this when you're done with browsing for 10 to 15 minutes, because this will help you to be very anonymous on online if you use this frequently. So make sure you use that. And this is our security level. So by default its security level is in standard, so let's go and change. So if you want your highest anonymous or you want your highest security, make sure you always set this safest, because in standard mode it will simply work like any browser that you use like Chrome, Firefox, but in safest mode, as you can see, it allows website to require the static and basic web services, and this will change like image media and service like JavaScript will be disabled, some fonts that will be disabled, audio and video, and all of those will be disabled. So make sure you always check those and set those to safest, and make sure you click this block dangerous and deceptive content and also block dangerous download, because many of the website gives ads that automatically download files, so it will block all of those. So these two things are most important for your anonymity and safe browsing. And make sure you always take those and set to those. You can also change to safer, but as you can see it is not safe. As you can see, it will cause some site to lose functionality, so make sure you always set those to safest. And also you can customize your Tor by simply customize Tor. Where is the setting? Okay, customize toolbar. So make sure you always set HTTPS everywhere in here. So because as we all know, more HTTP websites are mostly vulnerable, so this will just simply clicking this will HTTPS, it will make all of those websites that are on HTTP will makes HTTPS and make your websites more secure and browsing more securely. And there's some of the config tools that you can use, and also you can use no script. So for the site you don't want a script, you can just simply click this and it will automatically override the Tor browser setting to this preset. So that's all of the settings that you need to configure before browsing any wiki websites like you are not being redirected to. So make sure when you visit all of those websites like these websites, chains, privacy, email providers, blogs, make sure you always change those settings so that you can browse safely and tension free and anonymously, obviously. So you can also, as you can see, you can choose all of those browsers like dark web. So all of those onion sites you can visit after setting all of those. So make sure you always change all of those settings and configures for anonymously. The Tor network consists of two kinds of relay nodes. normal relay nodes and bridge relay nodes. The normal relay nodes are listed in the main Tor directory, and the connection to them can be easily identified and blocked by the sensors. So the Tor bridges is the consequential list of relays is available to everyone. It's easy for a government, a law enforcement agency, or any network or adversary to block you from using tools by blocking all the relays that are in the consequences. So a bridge is an unpublished relay to attempt to solve the problem, but the Tor relays being blocked, bridge became your first relay instead of the guard relay. So no money to use as bridge if using toward the block by censorship or using Tor dangerous. Wherever is legal, wherever is considered suspicious to your adversaries. So if you live in an uncensored area, bridges are not necessary, and also showed than using a normal entry card. So a Tor project page that you can see in front of you, it's called bridges, provided the details of a free bridges at a time to stop all the bridges from being known. So we can get the new bridges from a URL in here. So you can click and you can just have the option to get the normal bridge. So this is the bridge. So if you just click in here, so you can get normal bridge in here. So you can have like advanced, like you can use IPv6 address and etc. So we will also discuss what are the pluggable transports later. So let's now create just create a or get a bridge. So just click, just give me a bridge, complete the captcha WZVQD2Z. As you can see, these are the bridges. So there are three bridges in here: IP address, so IP address, port, and all of those, and the ID. So if you cannot reach this URL, then just simply mail to their developer, then they will give you the bridge. But mainly you will get all of those bridge in here. Simply just go to the bridge.torproject.org. So these products are generally less reliable and slower than Tor relays. So now how to use this? So let me show you how to put this into your browser. So let's just copy this, go to your setting, Tor browser setting, search for bridge. As you can see, it's automatically detected the bridge. So let's just just click in here, use a bridge. You can request a bridge even from in here, similarly like this. So let's say QJJ79 and Z. As you can see, it requested the same way that we get our bridge in here or here. So just click in here. So let's now test this out. To see if my internet service provider or ISP blocks connection to the Tor network that we entered our custom bridges. So let's try Tor project. As you can see, it's working, and even we have like many relays or circuits coming from in here. So it's pretty quick. So your bridges can be a little slow. It depends on the bridges. So you can see that the circuit check which one are the successful. So we are in here like Poland, and we are using bridge in here. As you can see, these are the bridges that we are using. So if you are setting a default bridge and you can just reload this page, then you will see that our bridge is grown. As you can see, it's now selected the IP address from Switzerland. So now that we see how our bridges is working properly, but if you are in a United States, then it may not work. Your ISP may block this. So it's mainly depends on country. So likes of Chinese government and other censored nations will likely be doing the same sort of things, that you won't be using or you won't be access those using manual bridges that we set. So bypass censorship, Debian would be the best operating system to use. There is also like CentOS or which OS that we use, which all uses the Debian. So now already that we finished using the bridges. So let's talk about the censorship problem. So if someone offers to help you out of your censorship problem, or you don't need to 100% trust by giving a Tor bridge to help you access to talk. So be aware, this could be a monitor based and a deliberate trap. So avoid if getting caught for using Tor, because Tor has some serious consequences, whether you are using Tor bridges or because which is not recommended by me, because some countries they are restricted or they are banned from using Tor. So it's better to use bridges, include toggling tool through other privacy and anonymity service like VPN or SSH tool, or using a offsite connection. So there will be then no consequences. So that's all about the bridges. So let's talk about now pluggable transport. So as we all know, some countries censor internet traffic. So Tor traffic is blocked there because its anonymity conflict with the internet censorship. So normal Tor traffic can be blocked by identifying its protocol packets and antennas, which are listed in the main Tor directory. To circumvent internet censorship, Tor introduce bridge relay nodes and pluggable transports. So bridge relay nodes are not bridge relay nodes are now listed in the main Tor directory, so that nobody can get all the bridge relay nodes to block them. So pluggable transport manipulates all Tor traffics between Tor client and Tor antenna, so that it's not identifiable. So OBF-S4 is the largest or latest pluggable transport of Tor, which can obscure the Tor traffic and have it look random. So we previously tested. So OBSP4, OBF-S4. So let's try again to check if it's working or not. As you can see, OBF-4 is bridge is connected through this. So that's how this all works. So that's all about the Tor. So let's talk about Tor hidden services. So what is Tor hidden services? So Tor hidden services are like the websites that open with .onion. As you can see, these all of the websites are at the end is .onion. So how it can be accessed via a .onion.any addresses, which you can see in the URL bar or in this URL address. As you can see in these lots of websites, that also offer a web service or other types of internet service that is accessible via the dot on your URL. So the real IP address is hidden behind a Tor circuit in order to run a hidden service. So you need to set up Tor as a normal install, then web server and whatever service it is that you want to present. Then that's all of those. So if you want to visit all of those let's go to a hidden wiki. So as you can see at the end is all of those website is .onion. So we don't have any website name like we see or like we used to see. So if you want to run a hidden service, you want to have a web server. So you want to make sure that it is secretly run, because if it's not, it could definitely leak the real IP address, which makes it pointless. As I have said previously, that it could be used to set up a hidden service, and in fact, so that's all of those are hidden services running on like non-commercial link, and all of those commercial link, all of those onion link is in here. As you can see, this is the for dark mining. So you can get all of those in here. Now finding a tall hidden service can be a little bit tricky, as darknet is an indexed by the web services. So web search engines that we are used to, the popular sources of dark web or darknet is like .onion at the end, as you can see. So let's go to a drugstore. So all of those websites are at the end is .onion, and all of those websites are valuable, are verifiable websites. So all of those websites are legit. So you can also buy all of the stuffs in here. So there is no direct readable list of all hidden services, although a number of hidden services catalog publicly known on the addresses. So here is one search page, and this is the most popular search places in here. So you can search any of the things that you want to search on darknet. So let's search for addresses. So hidden service list. So this will list all of those hidden service. So let's just randomly click and open one onion service. So let's see what this website is. So as you can see, it is for the gift card market. So this is also a reliable and also game shop from eBay and all of those. As you can see, it's not fake or criminal activity website. As you can see, very good website. So as you can see, lots or thousands of hidden service list is in here. So you can also feature or carve. So this is another website for reliable credit card. As you can see, dark store verified. So lots of those hidden services websites are in here. So make sure you go and visit this and check that out. So I think it's from Bitcoin. As you can see, Bitcoin generator. So you can enter your Bitcoin wallet and just get Bitcoin. 0. Let's try 0.1. So you have to have a Bitcoin address, then people who recently used. So as you can see, received all of those Bitcoins in here. So you only have one in 10 minutes, I think. As you can see, time limit is running. So all of those hidden services are available in here, and lots of adults services. So there are also some websites in here like Bitcoin, Anonymity, Drugstore, more commercial like dark web hackers to hire that we see in movies. So similarly like this, we have all of those in here. As you can see, you can social media attack, Reddit, Instagram, DDoS attack on a website for 1 month is like 900 USD dollars. So all of those, I'm not recommend you to do all of those stuff, but I'm just showing you that these websites are legit and verifiable. So in this hidden wiki, although there are many sites that claim to be hidden wiki, but the real censorship is hidden wiki can be very careful when you click all of those websites. So you must be very careful. You have to be concerned and cautious about this website. Make sure you visit and description and then go to their websites. So because if you click a random website, you could end up in a place that you don't want to go, because it's on the uncensored zone, and it is generally a good stuff for security, privacy and anonymity. But also there are some places or some websites that are for uncensored, so you make sure you don't visit those websites. So that's all of those hidden service and websites. Like, let's search for, so we can, this is the best web service search services in here. So all of those websites will redirect to this Onion website. So as you can see there, these are the marketplace of digital products, bills, similar as money transfer, gift card, Amazon gift card. So lots of services are in here. So the main idea is to help you to get those knowledge about how this dark web or darknet usually work on Tor browser, and also make sure you select a new circuit, or after visiting a page you just create a new identity so that you are safe from being hacked in this. And always, one thing that I always tell, don't full screen your Tor browser. So if you full screen your Tor browser, your machine then can be vulnerable to hack. So make sure you always as half shot or minimized version of Tor browser so that it cannot be hacked. So that's all about the Tor hidden services.
Hi there. Let's talk about SSA's VPN, John Donim as fast hop, and Tor as last hop. And what is most valuable is what is the first hop and what is the last hop. Let's look how to get traffic through SSA's VPN, John Donim client. So let's talk about what is SSA's VPN John Donim and fast hop, and what is the traffic and what is the strength and weakness of this traffic by gaining local user. So This is how a ISP help local user VPN to gaining data using Tor through SSH, VPN John Donim server, or Tor guard relay, or Tor middle relay, Tor exist relay. Then it gaining this data, and Tor help to reach data by SSH, VPN, or John Donim. Whenever you want to go to your desired data by SSH, VPN, or John Donim, your ISP would be helpful for you. Let's have an example, like if any attack gain Tor guard relay or pass Tor middle relay and finally Tor exit relay, and Tor store activity of local user by incoming SSH, VPN, John Donim attack. SSH, VPN, John Donim server create a extra layer for incoming attack. Then the layer goes next like Tor guard relay and Tor middle relay, and finally the layer is stopped by Tor exit relay. The Tor client has a list of nodes from a dictionary server. Then the Tor client establishes a random connection via nodes for target and passing some data over the encrypted situation. And now talk about weakness via SSH, VPN, John Donim. They can make a DNS, and the SSH, VPN, and John Donim client reach correctly by the help of making DNS, and it can be kill the connection over SSH, VPN, any of this layer like Tor guard relay, Tor middle relay. And lastly, the VPN provide SSH or VPN John Donim. There is some other options without a single hop or second hop or last hop. Between them, there is also some other options by using ISP. And this process user go to TLS by the use of VPN, SSH, or then John Donim, and finally Tor, then internet.onion, and VPN as first hop here and Tor as last hop. And after that, the user go to SSH, VPN, John Donim, and then Tor and internet.onion, your desired target. So here SSH, VPN, and John Donim as first hop and Tor as last hop. Now talk about if the Tor as first hop and SSH, VPN, John Donim as last hop. But in this system, Tor blocked his destination by SSH, VPN, John Donim server. Before this, between these two layers, Tor exit relay and SSH VPN John Dunham server. Between this layer, the Tor is stopped. SSH VPN John Dunham 3-layer stopped and cannot reach their destination by this layer. If Tor is fast up and SSH is VPN John Dunham as last hop. In some cases, Tor hide your IP address by SSH VPN or John Dunham server and clarify your IP address and store your data, and Tor failed there. Here is a risk by John Donne server, and here the IP address is visible or stored in Tor. SSH VPN John Donham server, this is the last server. Before this 3-layer multiple hub is connected, and the local user or Tor client first go Tor guard relay and of course help of ISP, but in last SSH VPN John Donham server stopped, and SSH VPN and John Donham server the best protection against local user Tor client, and Tor and VPN is totally two different system. In this tutorial, I show you guys some background information about Tor and its basic layer, Tor enhancements of our original, and some related work, and how an attacker design goals and assumptions, the Tor design, some hidden services, design decisions, attack and defenses, some early experience Tor in the wild, and Tor is middle. Tor work in middle way between attacker user and destination, and first user go to Tor network and attacker target user before go to Tor, then the request by the send of user go to entity guard, middle relay, exit node and destination websites, and Tor work for entity guard, middle relay and exit node, and it is called fingerprinting obfuscation method against intelligent fingerprinting attacks. So in the last of the video, let's discuss about what Tor is. Tor is end-to-end encryption protocol designed to keep communications secure. It's open source and is maintained by a large open source community. It's hard to hide malware or hacks inside of Tor. Provides semi-anonymity. Anonymity scales with how many people are using the network. This is all for Tor. And what Tor isn't, service to completely anytime yourself when using the internet, 100% decentralized. This is actually Tor isn't. So guys, that's it for today. I briefly discussed about Tor attack, SSAs, and John Downing server and VPN. Hope you guys liked it, and thanks for watching. Hello there. Let's talk about Tor browser. First, how to use Tor browser or set up Tor browser. Recommended use Tor browser. First, click security settings, set the security level. Tor browser is ready for use and you can immediately begin to surf anonymously. Install the program Proxy Fixer. Select the network settings. Use the local IP address and port of the Tor network connection. If you do not know what is this Tor browser and how it works, then this tutorial for you. You guys can download Tor browser only from the official site torproject.org. Be careful, there are sites that mimic the Tor project's websites. For example, the site is trying to install on your computer and it is a Trojan. Do not download Tor browser on third-party sites. By the way, Tor browser is made based on the Mozilla Firefox browser since it is the only browser able to work independently with SOCKS connection without an operating system. After installing Tor browser is fully operational, below is a screenshot from the official website. So what is Tor actually? Tor is free software and an open network that helps you defend against traffic analysis, a form of network surveillance that threatens personal freedom and privacy, confidential business activities and relationships, and state security. Why anonymity matters? Tor protects you by bouncing your communications around a distributed network of relays run by volunteers all around the world. It prevents somebody watching your internet connection from learning what sites you visit, and it prevents the site you visit from learning your physical location. Recommended use Tor browser. Like, do not install additional plugins as it is likely to install a plugin that will give your actual location. All the necessary plugins are already installed for anonymity. Do not open the documents while you are online. In such files can be embedded macros that have requested access to the internet directly from the program. Bypassing the Tor network, this compromises your real IP address. And do not download torrents on the Tor network as it will increase the load on the network. Torrent programs are arranged so that they always get access directly to the internet. And do not consider the proxy settings, it can compromise your real IP addresses. Use the HTTP connection is always, and this connection will ensure the security of data transmission. You guys found Tor browser window, and some question is there like what's next, who can help, like this type of questions. Set After installing, click Security Settings. Set the security level. Low is default standard security, suitable for most users. Websites are opened correctly and nothing is blocked. And medium, JavaScript is disabled on sites that do not support HTTPS. HTML5 video and audio is triggered by clicking through the NoScript plugin. Then high, JavaScript is disabled on all websites. HTML5 video and audio is triggered by clicking through the NoScript plugin. Not allowed for loading certain types of images, fonts, and icons. Since most websites use JavaScript, is therefore to view websites in high mode is problematic. Since the content is hidden, we recommended this mode when you want to read an article on some websites. It is not necessary in this case to authenticate online. So security level 3 state: high, medium, low, and low is default. Tor browser now is ready for use and you can immediately begin to surf anonymously. One more thing, using this setting only Tor browser uses the Tor network. All other programs are using a direct connection to the internet and send you real IP addresses. What to do with the programs that are not able to work directly with the SOCKS protocol, for example, email, clients, and other browsers, instant messaging programs, or many more. We recommend to use of Proxyfire to redirect traffic of such programs in the Tor network. Like how you guys can setting Proxyfire through the Tor network. Proxyfire program can redirect traffic from all the operating system software through a proxy, including email, clients, browser, instant messaging programs also. Create ProxyChains. Use the DNS server from the proxy, hiding the real DNS of ISP, and supports HTTP and SOCKS proxy. Install the program Proxyfire. This program is able to collect the traffic from operating system and flowing through a certain proxy server. To configure Proxyfire, need to learn use the Tor network port. Go to Preferences in the Tor browser. Use the local IP addresses and port of the Tor network connection. This data must be inserted in program Proxyfire to the entire operating system. Traffic was held in the Tor network. Open any browser or email program in the program Proxyfire. You will see a list of connections through the Tor network. In any browser, you can check your IP address, and to make sure that will show the IP address of Tor network and not your real IP address. If something does not work, close the Tor browser and Proxyfire, and then start the Tor browser and wait for the main window. Only then run Proxyfire. No additional configuration is not necessary to do. All traffic will automatically go through the Tor network. Close the program Proxyfire to reclaim your real IP addresses. Running Tor browser for the first time. When you run Tor browser for the first time, you will see the connect to Tor window. This offers you two options to either connect directly to the Tor network or to go configure to Tor browser for your connection. There's a checkbox which asks whether you always want to get automatically connected to the Tor network. If this is the case, check the box like this. In most cases, choosing connect will allow you to connect to the Tor network without any further configuration. Once clicked, a status bar will appear showing Tor's connection process if you are on a relatively fast connection, but this bar seems to get stuck at certain point. See the troubleshooting page for help solving the problem, or if you know that your connection is censored or uses proxy, you should click on the Tor network settings. There is some other options inside Tor. The third checkbox asks if your connection uses a proxy. In most cases, this is not necessary. You will usually know if you need to select this checkbox because the same settings will be used for other browsers or your system. If possible, ask your network administrator for guidance. If your connection does not use a proxy, click Connect. Some features of a normal web browser can make you vulnerable to man-in-the-middle attacks. Other features have previously had bugs in them that revealed users' identities. Turning the security slider to a high setting disables these features. This will make you safer from well-funded adversaries who can interface with your internet connection or use new unknown bugs. In these features, unfortunately, turning off these features can make some websites unusable. The default low setting is fine for everyday privacy protection, but you can set it to high if you are worried about sophisticated attackers or if you don't mind if some websites do not display correctly. Finally, browsing with Tor is different in some ways from the normal browsing experience. We recommend watching this video carefully for properly browsing with the Tor browser and retaining your anonymity. And you are now ready to browse the internet anonymously with the Tor browser. So this is for it. Hope you guys liked it and thanks for watching.
Is a MAC address. It is media access control. It is a permanent address assigned to network interfaces by the manufacturer of the device. Also, it is a unique address for each device. Therefore, a hacker can get caught easily if it isn't changed. For example, if you have a wired card, Ethernet card, or wireless card, all of them have a unique MAC address assigned to it. There would be no two devices in the world that have the same MAC address. That's why changing it is crucial for hackers. Also, this address will always be the same if you use the same device on two or more computers. IP addresses are used in the internet to identify computers and communicate with each other. IP addresses can be changed easily, and there may be another same IP address that exists in the world. And the MAC address helps to transfer data between two devices, so each piece of data or packet that is sent with the network contains a destination MAC and source MAC. That's how this packet flows from source MAC to the destination MAC address. As this is a physical and unique address for each device, and it is used to identify devices, that's why changing this address will make you anonymous online. Also, the MAC address often used by filters to allow or prevent devices to connect to websites and do specific tasks on the network. So being able to change MAC address to another device MAC address will allow you to impersonate this device and allow you to do things that you might not be able to do. So you will be able to bypass filters or connect to network that allow only specific MAC addresses or specific devices. And last but not least, you will be able to hide your identity. Now let's see how to change the MAC address And for now, we will see how to do it manually. And then we will see how to write a program to do that automatically. Let's move to our hacking operating system. So we will use the ifconfig command to list all the network card on this computer device. So here we have ETH0. It is not real, and this is a virtual interface. It is created by VirtualBox because we set this computer to use a NAT network. So this computer actually thinks that it is connected to a wired network, and all of this is done by virtual network and virtual interfaces in here connected to that network. You can also see the LO, which is a virtual interface created by Kali Linux. And you may also WLAN 0 if you have an external USB wireless adapter. So it's actually not needed, but if you have that, nothing to worry about. So other than the interfaces, the ifconfig command also lists information about each one of this interfaces. So we can see it has an IP address. Also, you can see the net mask and the broadcast for this network. Here you can see the MAC address of this interface. So right now, the MAC address for ETH0 is this highlighted part. So to change this MAC address, we are going to do ifconfig followed by the name of the interface that we want to change its MAC address. So here, we want to change the MAC address of the ETH0. So we are going to type ETH0. Then, I am going to type down to disable this interface. Now that the interface is disabled, we can change the MAC address. So I'm going to say ifconfig, then ETH0, and then we are going to type hwether. And then we're going to specify the new MAC address that we want it to show. Then I'm going to hit enter, and again, ifconfig up to re-enable the interface. And if we see the MAC address by typing ifconfig, now we can see the MAC address has been successfully changed. So this is just a brief example of what you will learn from this complete course. We're going to learn much more. So enroll now and learn from the world's biggest and most advanced ethical hacking course.
Hello everyone. Let's talk about MacChanger for changing MAC addresses. Changing MAC address with MacChanger in Linux, there is some command like a media access control. MAC address is a unique number that gets assigned to every network interface, including Ethernet and wireless. It's used by many system programs and protocols in order to identify a network interface. One of the most common examples would be the case of DHCP, where a router assigned an IP address to a network interface automatically. The router will know which device it has assigned an IP addresses to by referring to the MAC addresses, unlike an IP address which is temporary and can be changed easily. MAC addresses are hard-coded into a network interface from the MacChanger. However, it's still possible to change or spoof a MAC address temporarily on Linux systems. One of the easiest ways to do this With the MacChanger command line program, there are both legitimate and shaded reasons for a for why a Linux user may find the need of change a MAC address. In this tutorial video, you will learn how to install MacChanger or major Linux distros, how to identify current MAC address and network interfaces, how to change an interface's MAC address, how to change the interface to a specific MAC address. Install MacChanger on major Linux distros. To install MacChanger or on Ubuntu Debian and Linux Mint, the command is sudo apt install MacChanger. To install MacChanger on CentOS, Fedora, Alarm Linux, and Red Hat, use MacChanger to change any interface's MAC address, and the command is IP. Before we start using the MacChanger command, you will need to know the name of the network interface that you want to work with. You can execute the IPA command to see a list of available network interfaces on your network system. You can begin a change the MAC address. Follow along with the step by step instructions below to see how not you will need root permissions in order to execute the MacChanger command. Step 1, use the -R option to get a random MAC address. In addition, just specify the name of your network interface. Command is sudo MacChanger enp0s3 to output should show your current MAC address and the new one that has been assigned from MacChanger. Step 2, to verify the change, try running IPA command again, and you should see the new MAC address listed. Step 3, if you need to use a specific MAC address, you can do that with the -m option and following command syntax as sudo messenger -mb and address. And step 4, various vendors have different MAC address prefixes. Therefore, you can easily identify the manufacturer of a network device by looking at least first few bits of MAC address. This means we can use MacChanger to make our device look as if it belongs to a certain MacChanger to see a list of known MAC addresses and their corresponding vendors. Use the -1 option. To do this, first you need to be rooted in terminal in Kali Linux. and give command if config and some network running multicast broadcast flags. Some information is show, then write command if config wlan 0 help and GNU MacCharger uses MacChanger's options for device. There is many options. Use MacChanger to change an interface MAC addresses, like use the -R option to get a random MAC address. To verify the change, try running the IPA command again and you should see the new MAC address listed. If you need to use a specific MAC address, you can do that with the -am option and the following command syntax. When you need to when you know the name of the network interface that you want to work with, you can execute the IPA command to see a list of all the available network interfaces on your network system. In most cases, this will include a wired wireless and loopback interface. We saw how to change the MAC address of a network interface on Linux. There is done through the MacChanger utility, which can be easily installed from the default repos of most major Linux distributions. We also learned a few different options to use with the command in case you would like to have a random MAC address, a specific one or one from a particular vendor. So if you do this in your Linux terminal without root, it gave so much error. So guys, that's it for MacChanger. Hope you guys liked it, and thanks for watching.
So let's talk about the actions and behaviors that we need for anonymity, and mainly we'll be talking about how to be anonymous online. So we have many things or many ways to be anonymous in online uses, like IP address. So what is IP address? So an IP address is a unique address that identifies a device on an internet or a local network, and IP stands for Internet Protocol, which is the set of rules that govern the format of the data sent via the internet or local network. So in essence, IP addresses are similar that allows information to be sent between the device on a network, that they contain location information and make device accessible for communication. The internet then needs a way to differentiate between different computers, routers and websites, and then IP address provides a way for doing this, form of an essence or essential part of how this internet works. So why this is important? Because IP address is a main part of us being anonymous, because changing IP address using like couple of tools like VPN and Proxy can be helpful for anonymity, such as we can use VPN, we can use proxies. So let's talk about VPN, how we can use VPN for anonymity. So for VPN, the process of using a VPN to hide your IP is pretty straightforward. Just set up your VPN, and as soon as you connect to a server, your IP address will be masked with an alternate one to prevent website and other third parties from identifying you or even knowing your location. So this will help you to keep you anonymous. You could also try some of the best free VPNs to change your IP address, but I would not recommend, because however, you should note that free VPNs are often have limitation and like trials that have like 7 days or 10 days trial, because that's why the free VPNs I would not recommend. So also a couple of things about free VPNs is that they are slower in speed and they have limited data and even privacy concern. Therefore, I strongly recommend going to an affordable premium VPN. So one of my favorite VPN is CyberGhost. So let's go and check about CyberGhost. So mostly I use this VPN. I think this is an affordable premium VPN that you can use for anonymity, which cost just a couple of dollars, as you can see, per month, and your IP address will remain hidden as long as you stay connected to the VPN. And what is the difference between free and paid VPN? Because free VPN has, as I previously told, slower speed, limited data, even have some privacy concern, but in this VPN you don't have any of these issues. It will have like faster speed that your internet speed provider is providing to you, so you will have this full connection speed in this VPN. And as you can see, I think this is one of the best VPN that you can offer both on your PC and also on your phone. So I will highly suggest you to use this. So using this VPN, it will mean that you can safely and anonymously use the internet, and your fake IP address will be located in the country of the VPN server that you choose to connect. So you can change your IP by simply connect it to a different server, which they will provide. They will have like 10 or 15 servers, and you can choose one, or you can randomize your server. Although using a VPN is the easiest way to hide your IP address, and that's all about your VPN. So there is another way, which is proxy servers. So proxy servers are another way to hide your or change your true IP address. So an important fact to mention is, however, that proxy don't have any of the security features that most VPNs or premium VPNs offer. A proxy is a type of server that functions as an intermediate between user and the internet. When using a proxy, all your online requests will be sent through uh, sent through by the proxy server. So the proxy then forward your request to the web server that you are trying to reach. So during this process, the proxy changes some of your data, including your IP address, and then proxy server will have an IP address on its own, since all of the data is going through here, and the IP will send out the rest of the web instead of yours. However, it's best to use proxy server only when doing like low stake task, because when they don't encrypt your data and cannot prevent third parties from accessing it. So when you use a proxy, your ISP and other third parties can still monitor what you are doing online. So there are several proxy sites that you can use, like let's go. As you can see, you can use these free proxy sites in here, but the thing is, they don't expect. So what you have to do is, don't expect the similar production like that we previously saw as a premium VPN. There is a far difference between a anonymity level between a proxy server and a VPN. So I would recommend you to go for the VPNs, and mostly for the premium VPNs that you like or that you feel comfortable. And we'll also talk about more about anonymity in our next lecture. Hello everyone, so in this lecture we're going to be talking about the proxy chains. As you can see, I am using the Kali Linux as my virtual machine. So here we're gonna use this proxy chain and demonstrate how this is works. So let's talk about first the proxy chain. What is this, the proxy chain? So proxy chains is a open source software that is available free and most of the Linux distributor, and it is pre-installed. As you can see, I didn't have to do anything, it is already pre-installed. So if you are using the latest version of Kali Linux, it is pre-installed in it. Proxy chain is a tool that redirects the TCP, which means the transmission control protocol, that connects with the help of proxies like Tor, HTTPS and SOCKS, and it creates a proxy chain server. When we are using the proxy chain, we can hide our IP addresses in the real world. In Kali Linux, when we are using any tools, that time source IP address is our main, and if you are using proxy chains, that time our IP will be hidden, and when you are scanning or visiting any website we give there, then our IP addresses, as there are logs, and they will be hidden and not in the real one. So proxy chain is very useful. So if you are only visiting the web page, that you can use Tor browser, But if you want to hide your whole traffic, then you have to use ProxyChain. So let's talk about couple of the ProxyChains features, like it supports SOX S5 or SOX 4 and HTTP Connect proxy servers. So ProxyChain can be mixed up with any different proxy types of list, and then ProxyChain also support any kind of chaining option method like random, which takes a random proxy in the list that is stored in a configuration file that will show in the later, or chaining proxy in the exact order list, and different proxies that separated by a new line in a file. Then ProxyChains can be used with servers like Squid, SendMail, etc. ProxyChain is capable to do DNS resolving through proxy. And at last, the ProxyChains can handle any TCP client application like Nmap, Telnet, etc. So what is the ProxyChains syntax? So as you can see, I am using Kali Linux. So instead of running a penetration tool or creating multiple requests to any target directly using our IP, we can let ProxyChains cover and handle the job. Just type command ProxyChains for every job. That means we enable the ProxyChain service. For example, we want to scan the available host and its ports in our network using Nmap. So Nmap using ProxyChains, the command should be like Nmap then 192.168.1.1/4. So this ProxyChains tell our machine to run the ProxyChain service. This Nmap, this will do the job like ProxyChains to be covered, and this is the argument or any argument that needed by a certain job or tool. So in this case, our scan range needed to be Nmap to run this scan. So if you just type this, as you can see, it will run this Nmap, and it will take a couple of seconds. So before, as you can see, Nmap scan all of those using these IP addresses. So as you can see, there are a couple of ports are open, like there are TCP ports open, which are HTTP service and UPnP services. As you can see, all of those you can see in here. So let's now talk about how to use ProxyChains. So before you are using ProxyChains, we need to set up the ProxyChain configuration file. We also need a list of proxy servers. So ProxyChain configuration file can be located in your Kali Linux machine. So go to your root directory, then you have to go this etc directory, then alternatives, and in here you will see a lots of file, but don't get confused, you will see a ProxyChain file in here. So let's just search. As you can see, this is the file we need to configure. So what you have to do now is we have to open the ProxyChain configuration file in your desirable text editor to set up some configuration, and let's demonstrate this. I already did this, so let's just demonstrate in a slideshow. So this, so what you have to do is open a ProxyChain.configuration file, and then scroll down until you reach at the bottom. As you can see, I am at the bottom, and at the end you will find this proxy list, add proxy here. So by default, ProxyChains directly sends the traffic first through our host, which is 127.0.0, this one, on port 9050, which is the default Tor configuration. So if you are using Tor, leave it as it is. If you are not using Tor, you will need to comment out this line. Now we need to add more proxies. So there are free proxy servers on the internet. You may look on the Google for it and you will find like many VPN services. Here I am using NordVPN, which is a free VPN service, as it has very detailed information on their website, as you can see in here. What you have to do now is you have to comment the default proxy. So what you have to do is comment the default proxy to Tor. So if you are using or if you are not using the Tor, then you need to add the proxy on ProxyChains configuration file. As you can see, this is the configuration file that we are editing, and then after doing this we just save and it will look like this. As you can see, it will look like this. Now what you have to do now is I have to like go in here. So you will see a lot of like dynamic chain, streak chain or random chain. So what is dynamic chain versus random chain? So dynamic chain will enable us to run our traffic through every proxy on our list. So and even one of the proxies is down and not responding, the dead proxies are then skipped. It will automatically go to the next proxy in the list without throwing an error. Each connection will have done via the chain proxies. All proxies will be chained in the order as they appear in the list. Activate dynamic chaining allows for the greater anonymity and trouble-free active or hacking experiences. And I will always recommend to use the dynamic chain. To enable dynamic chain in the configuration file, just uncomment. As you can see, this is the uncomment. So just uncomment this dynamic chain line, and then this is the random chain. So random chaining will allow ProxyChains to randomly choose IP addresses from our list, and each time we use ProxyChains, the chain of proxy will look different to the target, making it harder to track our traffic from its source. To activate random chaining, comment out this random chain. The chain of the proxy will look different to the target, making it harder to track our traffic from its source. Since we can only use one of these option at a time, make certain that you comment out the other option in the section before using ProxyChains. You may want to use uncomment the line, then chain underscore length, this one. This option will determine how many of the IP addresses in your chain will be used in creating a random proxy chain. So as you can see, that's pretty much easy, and now we can now we can know and use the hacker to use the proxy chain to cover their identity. That's how they use it, and to stay anonymous without worrying about the detected by the target ideas or forensic investigators. So that's how people use proxy chains. It's very easy, so make sure you try it. So in this lecture we're going to be talking about how to set up a proxy server for traffic monitoring. In a few countries there are a lot of restrictions according to the internet uses. Restricted website, banned web services, or any kind of internal censorship. Most of the time people appeal for anonymity service to bypass that bar. One common element is that web proxy. A web or HTTP proxy is a server that acts as a middleman between the two communication, like client server. In a certain way, this proxy will mask your IP address by giving you an alternative internet identity. A proxy is used for more than privacy. This tool helps to bypass filters, loggings, and eavesdropping, caching, filtering, blocking, manipulate, and modify the network traffic, and many more. So I will emphasize network traffic in this lecture. So have you ever thought about that what can happen if you use a free proxy service? Your privacy can be guaranteed. So there is a lot of paid tools that can be trusted, but a lot of people do not pay for this service. The person or the group control of a proxy can see your traffic, especially if it is a free proxy. So actually how it is works. So there is a lot of proxies out there. So I am going to shortly explain the types of proxies and how it works. So forward proxies. For this type, the client sends the request to proxy and fetches the response on behalf, where the client can or know about the proxy, but the server doesn't know about the proxy at all. The order will be something like this: client to proxy and then server. Reverse proxy. This is used to hide behind network architecture for distributing load traffic to the server. The communication are made to the proxy instead of the servers, and then the same proxy will handle the request, and it's something like this, the order. Transparent proxies. This kind of proxy does not modify any information without any client configuration. This is commonly used for ISP for faster responses. So great. How do you connect to a proxy? So there is a more browser setting setup instead of doing a like techie. So if you use browser, then just go to setting your advanced network and manual proxy setting. You can change it, where you are going to add IP address and port provided by the proxy service. So at this point we all set to start using a proxy, but there is some missing part in here. We need to install and configure a proxy server. So I am going to give you a quick explanation because later on I will get more details about it. So for this I recommend using a Linux based which is like Debian preferable OS. So we are going to use a ProxyChains, and this tool I already previously shown in my previous lecture how you can use ProxyChains on your Kali Linux machine or any Linux distributor which is pre-installed, which I previously shown. And this tool forces any TCP connection made by any application to follow through a proxy. To install, just type this apt-get install ProxyChains and it will automatically install ProxyChains. You don't need to do anything. And to configure, you need to configure this is the directory. So this is the configuration file. So in this directory you can configure this ProxyChain, and we have to comment the strict_chain option. Basically this means that if one of the proxies for this list is down, the whole chain will be unusable. So after this you can uncomment this dynamic_chain option. Regardless if all the proxies are available, the chain will work. Dead proxies will be skipped. The proxy list will use the default Tor network in case you won't put something on the proxy list in order to anonymize you. So how to use it? As a non-root user, you can just use ProxyChain Firefox. So type this and leave the terminal open when typing the ProxyChain. But how can you set up your own proxy server? So we are going to generate a cloud called Divine Machine, and you will be installing a proxy server called Squid3 for handling personal traffic to demonstrate how you can be monitored and easily know your destination and package detail using the Wireshark or T-Shark network analyzer. So generating SSH keys and blocking root access, which mean the minimum security control. So first, generate SSH keys for accessing the server doing this command. So this bold, as you can see, these bold are for the command purposes or for terminal purpose. So once you done, once this is done, once this command line is done, you will be have a file name this on the directory of this for the username locked. So what you have to do now is you have to copy the generated key into a digital ocean instance by doing a char id _isa.pub. So after that, accessing via the SSH is like this: SSH root _ IP, where the IP will be the IP address instead of provider with the digital ocean. So the last one will be sent to the email with the root password. Adding other users for security purposes by add user David. So set the password using the this command, password command, and changing the authentication method on the SSHD configuration file will let user to access the only SSH part only. So after that, what you have to do now is copy and generate the root authentication key ownership to the same user, that David. As you can see, this David will disable the root access to the server. So after that, what you have to do now is install and configure the proxy servers. So installing the SQL proxy server, what you have to do now is just type on your Linux machine this is the command: install SQL. It will automatically do everything, you don't even need to do anything. So after that, you have to back up the config file, and this is the configuration file, and this is the directory. So what you have to do now next is change the write to the backup, which is the this is the command line. So this, there is a exception, so everybody can read the file, but you can read it. So inside this file, this configuration file, you can change the TCP port if you want. So by default there will be like TCP port will be like 3128. So before starting the server, we need a firewall hole. So you can check ports with the nmap, as you all know what nmap is. So nmap tool, it is also pre-installed on Kali Linux machine, so just use it. So nmap tool by doing a nmap space under your IP address of that machine. So checking the SQL service by doing a this command, this will start the service, and if it is necessary, then it will need to do all of these. So setting the SQL proxy server on the location of this directory and this configuration file like this. After that, they type the command of HTTP your IP address and then the port, and the default port by is 3128, or the as you can see, the default port provided by the port service. So if you scan with nmap, the 3128 port on the SQL service won't be on the server. So next we are going to talk about the configuration file and sniffing, and then serve to the local machine. So now what you have to do now is you have to configure the SQL file. So now, as previously described, that you have to uncomment certain things. So uncomment this for, and this is for the banning ports. If it isn't on port 80, the connection gonna be get a drop, and this command will in default this is deny all the permission. By setting this into allow, we have to be responsible for doing things done on the proxy, and this is for the honeypot proxy servers. So restarting the SQL service after changes like this, typing this, it will easily automatically restart. Then what you have to do now is ensure all the browser instances are closed. This is the important part, and then trigger the ProxyChains Firefox using this command. Now what you have to do now is sniffing here proxy server. So on the same server instance, we start sniffing by installing T-Shark, and most of the Linux distributor has a T-Shark pre-installed, like Kali Linux has all of those pre-installed. So, or if you don't have any pre-installed, just type this command install T-Shark, it will automatically install. So sniffing the ETH0, this is the network monitor. So ETH0 means wired network, and this is the wired network. This will vary from machine to machine because you may have like ETH1 or WLAN 0 or WLAN 1, something like this. So make sure you check your own one. Because this was mine, so I sniffed this interface by TCP on port 3120, just typing this. So for verification, you can test the DNS leak test on the public IP address. Now we are going to set a pipe from the server to our local machine. So we are going to stream the traffic to the machine over SSH and push it to the Wireshark for the monitoring. So on the DigitalOcean instance, just install this Wireshark. Most of the, as usual, as previously told, most of the Linux distributor has a Wireshark pre-installed. So it's better to use the Kali Linux because Kali Linux has all the tools, penetration or attacking, all tools are pre-installed. So don't have to install a specific one manually. So or if you don't have install, so just type this and it will automatically install. Then what you have to do now is setting the users on the Wireshark group, and you cannot run Wireshark as a root. So just type this user mode Wireshark as David, and then the new group command configures the group membership with which a user will log in. So the new group Wireshark, this is the group configuration. This will let running the T-Shark command. This is because this is the command on a regular user. So on the host machine, we are going to pipe the output of the embedded T-Shark pickup file. So all those files that Wireshark will save on your directory that we previously mentioned or selected, all those Wireshark file will be .pcap. So all those file extension has a pcap extension at the end. So make sure you remember because this is the Wireshark file, and this is the tricky part for the workshop, and this is the final command line. So let me define. So as you know, Wireshark is the Wireshark command, as you all know, and -i, it is the interface, and -i does not necessarily a network interface. In this case, a live stream interface going to output the redirection, and then the command specifies, as you all know, this is the T-Shark as previously -f. So -f pcap is the default format for T-Shark. Then -w for writing, it's defined as the writing on the standard output, and this will prompt the GUI of Wireshark which we previously installed, and will sniff the incoming traffic. You can then also filter the incoming traffic by a Wireshark GUI like this. So we are going this is the filter, because in Wireshark GUI interface you have a option like in the upper side corner, upper left, there is an option called filter. So in filter you're just gonna type this. So we're gonna filter this port from 80 to this port. So the Wireshark filter should display your own traffic coming from HTTP ports to TCP ports. So that's how you use a proxy to sniff or monitor traffic, and this is the way for the filtering. This is the part of filtering. So in summary, how do you learn? So we learned that the person who controls the proxy server can see all the sites that you are visiting, all the places that you are going, log all of your traffic information, and many more that you cannot even imagine. Many source IP addresses on 3128 port, as this port that we are used will be your home router. Someone can look at your router and access it, because most of us use the default router setting, because most of our router setting has admin as username, admin as password, like in my TP-Link. So make sure you change your router default password, and it's a must, I guess. Yeah, I will say it's a must for every penetration tester, because someone can look at your router and access it, and they can do a lot of things that you cannot even imagine. They can change the DNS server, monitor all the URLs that you requested, and your PC can be placed on DMZ on the router, and many things. And you cannot see the encrypted data easily, and at the end the anonymity is a relative on all of this. So that's how you set up your proxy server and monitor the traffic. So in this lecture we're going to be talking about SOCKS 5 proxy tunneling with dynamic ports. There are times when you want to browse the internet privately, access geo-restricted content, or bypass any intermediate firewall your network might be enforcing. One option is to use a VPN, but that requires installing a client software on your machine and setting up your own VPN server, or subscribing to a VPN service, which might cost you some money. The simpler alternative is to route your local network traffic with an encrypted SOCKS proxy. This way, all your application using the proxy will connect to the SSH server, and the server will forward all the traffic to its actual destination. Your internet service provider and other third parties will not be able to inspect your traffic and block your access to the websites. So in this lecture, we'll walk through the process of creating an encrypted SSH tunnel and configure Firefox and Google Chrome web browser to use the SOCKS proxy. So there are some prerequisites to this, like you need to have a server running any flavor of Linux with a SSH access to your router, and you route through your traffic through it, and you have to have a web browser, and you have to have a SSH client. So in first, what you have to do is you have to set up a SSH tunnel. So we'll create an SSH tunnel that will securely forward traffic from your local machine on port 9090 to the SSH server on port 22. You can use any port number greater than 1024. Only root can open port on privileged ports. So if you run Linux, Mac OS, or any other Unix-based operating system on your local machine, you can easily start an SSH tunnel with simple this command line. So let's define what this is. So SSH, as you know, this is the SSH command, and -n tells SSH not to execute a remote command. This -d 9090 opens a SOCK tunnel onto the specific port number, this one, and user a server IP. So this is your remote SSH user and server IP address. To run the command in the background, just use a -f option. So if your SSH server is listening on a port other than 22, which is the default, use the -p, which is the port number option. So once you run the command, you will be prompted to enter your user password. So after entering it, you will be logging into your server, and the SSH tunnel will be established. You can set up an SSH key based authentication and connect to your server without entering a password. So in Windows user can create an SSH tunnel using the PUTTY PuTTY SSH client. So you can download PUTTY in just Google. You have just search PUTTY SSH client and you will get that instantly with a single search. So just download and install, pretty easy process. So then launch the PuTTY and enter your server IP address in the host name. As you can see this in here, host name or IP address field. So under the connection menu, as you can see this sidebar, under the connection menu, expand the SSH, select the tunnels, enter the port in here in this field 9090 as previously declined in here. So select the port 9090 in the source port field and check the dynamic. Make sure this is selected and make sure this is selected the dynamic radio button. Then click the add. Just click the add button to show this, and this will be shown like this. So what you have to do now is you have to go back to the session page and to save the settings, what you have, and you have to save the settings so that you do not need to enter them each time. So make sure you save it with the name save session field in here and click the save. Then what you have to do now is you have to select the, as you can see, select the save session and log into the remote server by clicking and open this button. So make sure you open only on clean exit. This is selected and make sure your SS is selected and port on 22 and your host name, IP address. Make sure you check all of this, and the most important part is make sure you save this my proxy, save, click save and select this save and open. Then a new window will be asking for your username and password that will show up. So once you enter your username password, you will be logged into your server and the SSH tunnel will be started. Setting up a public key authentication will allow you to connect to your server without entering a password. So configure your browser to use the proxy. So now that we have opened our SSH SOCKS tunnel, the last step is to configure your preferred browser to use it. So we are going to use our Firefox. So this will be the step. So make just easy. Go to your Firefox menu, click on the preference link or preference option and scroll down to the network setting and scroll down to the setting button, and then a new windows will open, and then this panel or page will open. Then select it will basically in default it will be auto detect proxy. So in default it will be selected in here. So but what you have to do now is you have to select this manual proxy configuration. Then these all will be blank. So what you have to do is you have the SOCKS 5 host to set as this in the field and set port as 9090. Check the proxy DNS when, as you can see, SOCKS 5. Make sure you select this, not SOCKS 4, because we are working on our SOCKS 5. So make sure you select this checkbox. This is the important part, and then select no proxy for this, and click after that, or you have to tick this button proxy DNS when using SOX 5, because this will be in default, this will be blank, not one will be selected. So make sure you select this one and then just click OK. So at this point, after clicking OK, your Firefox is configured and you can browse the internet through the SSH tunnel. So to verify, you can open like an easy google.com and type "what's my IP," and you should see your server IP address instead of your original IP address. So to revert back the default setting, so just easy, just go to the network setting and use the proxy setting to select the auto, and it will be all default as previously it will be selected in your default IP address. So there are also several plugins that can help you to configure Firefox proxy settings, such as like Proxy Proxy, and in Google Chrome you can use a default system proxy setting instead of changing your operating system with proxy command. You can use an additional, such as you should use a command line. You should launch a Chrome with a new profile and you use your SSH tunnel to use the command like this. This will be the command line for Linux and this will be for the Windows. So after typing this command line, the profile will be created automatically. So if it doesn't exist, this way you can use multiple instances of Chrome at the same time. To configure the SSH tunnel info to which is working properly, just type google.com and check your IP address. It should be show your browser IP address instead of your original IP address. So in conclusion, we learned that how to set up an SSH SOX 5 tunnel and configure our browser to access the internet privately and anonymously. For ease of use, you can use or define the SSH tunnel in your SSH configuration file or create a bash alias that will set up the SSH tunnel and start the browser. And that's all about the SOX 5 proxy tunneling with dynamic ports.
Hi there, hope you guys are doing good. So today I will talk about some best Kali Linux tools, top 25 best Kali Linux tools. So becoming an ethical hacker is not quite as easy as to become a software developer or programmer. An ethical hacker penetration tester has to have a good understanding about various fields, not just merely having in-depth programming languages in C, C++, Python, PHP, etc. Also, in needing an advanced Linux Unix environment knowledge just to get started with the field of ethical hacking. Kali Linux comes with tons of pre-installed penetration testing tools, around about 600 tools included. As a beginner penetration tester, it sounds horrible. How could one learn or use all of these tools as a beginner? The truth is, you don't need to master all of this. Indeed, there are a lot of tools built into Kali Linux which have to the same concept and purpose. But among them, there are always the best. In this tutorial, I will cover the top 25 best Kali Linux tools for the beginner penetration tester. But if you have just installed Kali Linux before you read or watch this video, the top 25 Kali Linux tools listed below are based on functionality and also sequence in the penetration testing cycle or procedure. So, One more thing is anonymity. During penetration testing, it is crucial to prepare to stay anonymous. Don't fool yourself by revealing your own identity while hacking. So, number 25 is MacChanger. There are several reasons changing the MAC address is important. I use the MacChanger while pen testing a wireless network with MAC filtering enabled and have to assign an approved MAC address to the wireless adapter or just literally to change to a random MAC while pen testing to use MacChanger. And this is the command line for MacChanger like help, version, show, permanent, random, all the command for Kali Linux. And here is some example. Number 24 is ProxyChains. ProxyChains cover and handle whatever job add command ProxyChains for every job. That means we enable ProxyChains service. For example, I want to trigger ProxyChain to cover nmap. The command is ProxyChains nmap address -v -t4. But therefore you use ProxyChains, you need to configure it first, adding proxy, IP and other things. And now come to information gathering option. Number 23, traceroute. Traceroute is a computer network diagnostic tool for displaying the connection route and measuring transit delays of packet across an IP address, just like this. Number 22, what web. What web is a website fingerprint utility. It identifies websites including content management systems, CMS, blogging platforms, statistic, analytic packages, JavaScript libraries, web servers, and embedded devices. WhatWeb has over 7,000 plugins. Is to recognize something different. WhatWeb also identifies version numbers, email addresses, account IDs, web framework modules, SQL errors, and more. Just like this screenshot, WhatWeb. Number 21 is Whois. Whois is a database managed by local internet registers. It is a query and response protocol that is widely used for querying databases that store the registered users of an internet resource, such as a domain name of or an IP address block, but it is also used for a wider range of other personal information about the domain owner. Let's see the example. Number 20 is Multigo. Multigo, there is some versions of Multigo. One is community edition and one is free for everyone. Multigo is an intelligence gathering tool which aims to discover and collect data about the target, company personnel attack, and visualizes that collected data into graph for analysis. Before we are using Multigo, first just watch the community edition. For here the address. Once you're done registering, open the terminal and type Multigo C. Wait a brief moment for it to start up. After it finishes loading, you will be greeted by a screen asking you to log in to Multigo Community Edition. This is the dashboard. And after this, sign in with the account you have just registered. After you are logged in, you need to decide what type of machine is needed to run against the target. Community stalker gathers reconnaissance footprint, basic footprint L2, moderate amount of reconnaissance footprint L3, intense, and the most complete reconnaissance. And this is the screenshot about footprint L3, and this is the work procedure of Multigo. Number 19 is Nmap. Nmap is network mapper, is tool used for network discovery and security auditing. My favorite option is Nmap is script Balance. It tells Nmap to audit the security of each open port on target using NSE. For example, nmapkali.org script val n, and the command nmap help to show you all the information about nmap command. Number 18 is Jarbuster Drive. Drive is a tool to find hidden objects, files, and directories on a website. DARP works by launching a dictionary-based attack against a web server and analyzing the response. DARP comes with a set of pre-configured word lists located under this directory. To launch Drip, use the following command pattern: drip target to list file drip, and this is the command for starting Drip. Now come to vulnerability analysis tool. Number 17 is Nikto. Nikto is web server and web application assessment tool to find potential security issues and vulnerabilities. Nikto scans for 6,700 potentially dangerous files programs. To run Nikto, type this command nikto -s and IP address. Web application analysis. 16 is SQLib. SQLib is a simple and massive SQL injection vulnerability scanner. SQLib is not installed by default in Kali Linux. To install it, run this command git first you need to git clone, and then you guys can use this. Number 15 is Burp Suite. Burp Suite is a collection of tools bundled into a simple suite which performs security testing of web applications, from initial mapping and analysis of an application's attack surface through to finding and exploiting security vulnerabilities. The main features of Burp Suite is that it can function as an intercepting proxy. Burp Suite intercepts the traffic between a web browser and the web server. Browser, proxy, and server. To open Burp Suite, type Burp Suite into the terminal, and you guys can find this. So number 14 is OWASP-JAP. OWASP-JAP is a Java-based tool for testing web app security. It has an intuitive graphical user interface and powerful features to do such things as fudging, scripting, spidering, proxying, and attacking web apps. It is also extensible through a number of plugins. In this way, it is an all-in-one web app testing tool. To open OWASP-JAP, type OWASP-JAP into the Linux terminal. Number 13 is httrack. httrack is a website web page cloner. From a penetration testing perspective, it is mainly used to create a fake website or phishing in attacker server. Run httrack wizard by typing in the terminal httrack. You will be prompted some configuration needed with the guidance such as project name, base path of the project, set the URL target and proxy configuration. Number 12 is Zoom Scan and WP Scan. Zoom Scan is a web application analysis tool to scan and analyze Joomla CMS, while WP Scan is a WordPress CMS vulnerability scanner to check what CMS is installed on a target website. You can use either online CMS scanner or using additional tools. CMS map. Once you know the target CMS, whether it is Joomla or WordPress, then you can decide to use Zoom Scan or WP Scan. Run Zoom Scan and the command is zoomscan -u victim.com. This is the attacker site, targeted site, and the command is WP Scan -u. And now come to database assessment tool. Number 11 is SQL map. SQL automates the process of detecting and exploiting SQL injection vulnerabilities and taking over databases. To use SQL map, you need to find website URL which is SQL injection vulnerable. You can find it by either using SQLib or using Google Doc. Once you have got the vulnerable SQL injection URL, then open the terminal and run the following command like this: acquire table list, acquire database list, acquire column list, acquire the data. Mostly the data is encrypted. We need another tool to decrypt it. Below is another procedure to get the clear text password. Now come to password attacks. Number 10 is hash identifier and find my hash. Hash identifier is a tool to identify the different types of hashes used to encrypt data and especially passwords. Find my hash is a tool to crack encrypted passwords or data using online services. For example, we got encrypted data like this. First thing you are going to need to do is identify the hash type. To do that, launch hash identifier in terminal and input the hash value on it. Hash identifier detected this decrypted data is using hash algorithm MD5. After its hash type is known, then we use another tool, find my hash, to crack that data. Now the terminal command is find my hash MD5 -s and the hash value, and the result like this. Number 9 is Crunch. Crunch is a utility to create custom word lists where you can specify standard character set or a character set you specify. Crunch can generate all possible combinations and permutations. The basic syntax for Crunch is crunch min max character set -t pattern -0 output and file name. And min is minimum password length, max is maximum password length. Character set is used to generating the passwords, -t pattern the specified pattern from the generated passwords, -o save the word list into a file name. Okay, now come to number 8, John the Ripper. John the Ripper is one of the most popular password testing and cracking programs as it combines as a number of password crackers into one package, auto-detects password hash types, and includes a customization cracker in Linux password file located At password contains all user information. Hash is a say encrypted password of each of the users found in stored. And this is the dashboard. Number 7 is Hydra, and this is the Kali Linux built-in tools online password cracking service. Hydra is the fastest network login cracker which supports numerous attack protocols. TAC Hydra supports these protocols: Cisco, AAA, Cisco with Cisco Enable, and all of these stuffs. And number 6, wireless attack. Aircrack NG Suite. Aircrack NG is a network software suite consisting of a scanner, packet sniper, web and WPA, WPA2, PSK cracker, and analysis tool for 802.11 wireless LANs. Aircrack NG Suite includes Aircrack NG, Aircrack NG, and this is help for cracks WAP keys using the Further and decrypt WAP or WAP encrypted capture files like these steps. Number 5 is Fraction. Fraction is evil to in attack tool. Fraction doesn't perform brute force attack to break the key. Fraction creates the open twin AP of the target Wi-Fi network. When someone tries to connect to that network, a fake authentication page pops up asking for key. When victim enters the key, Fraction captures that key and checks whether the key is a valid password by matching the key and the handshake. To install Fraction, run the following command. First need to cloning it from git, and then command cd Fraction, and open the Fraction wizard by typing this. Number 4, exploitation tools, social engineering toolkit set. The social engineering toolkit is an open source penetration testing framework designed for social engineering. Set has a number of custom attack vectors such as phishing, spear phishing, malicious USB mass mail, or many things. This toolkit is a free product by trusttechsec.com. To start using set, type in terminal set toolkit. Number 3 is Metasploit framework. Metasploit framework initially was intended to be a maintainable framework which automates the process of exploiting rather than manually verifying it. Metasploit is a popular framework through history. It has rich modules aimed at a variety of targets such as Unix, BSD, Apple, Windows, Android, or many things. And sniping and spoofing. Number 2 is Wireshark. Wireshark is a very popular network analyzer tool that's most widely used in network security auditing. Wireshark uses display filters for general packet filtering. Here are some useful filters like this: show only SMTP, show only traffic in the LAN, TSP buffer full, match HTTP, filter against particular IP, display post request method mostly containing user password. And to run Wireshark, just type Wireshark in the terminal. It will open up a graphical user interface. And number 1 is BetterCap. BetterCap is a powerful and portable utility to perform various types of man-in-the-middle attacks against a network, manipulate HTTP, HTTPS, and TCP traffic in real time, sniper credentials, and much more. BetterCap is a similar concept as EtherCap, but in my experience, comparing both features, BetterCap on. So this is the top 25 tools in Kali Linux for ethical hacking. Hope you guys liked it, and thanks for watching.